Okay, here's 46 on page 449, it looks like. It says in a congressional district, 55% of the registered voters are Democrats. Which of the fall? So that sounds like we're dealing with proportions because it said 55%, which is a percent, proportion, fraction, all the same thing. And that 55%, that sounds like a population proportion, 0.55. And it says, which of the following is equivalent to the probability of getting less than 50%? Okay, less than 50%. So that would be our p hat, our sample. Sample proportion in a random sample of size 100. So n is equal to 100. Now, this is the formula for a z-score, and it's required on this question, right? Because it's multiple choice, and they're making you match it up with the right z-score. So normally, if it wasn't multiple choice and they're asking you to find something, I would want you to use your calculator, but I bet you probably already gathered that. Now, one thing that you have to make sure that we understand is that this standard deviation piece, which is always the bottom part of the z-score, only works if the sample is less than 10% of the population. So let me read it again. It's a congressional district. Congressional districts are pretty large. And it says random sample of size 100. So 100 times 10, and this is the 10% condition, by the way. 100 times 10 is 1,000. It's a congressional district, so I think we're safe to assume that there's more than 1,000 voters in that congressional district. Okay, so it's very important that you always check the 10% rule when you're using standard deviation. This is a multiple choice question, so I think it's probably was assumed there. All right, so then plugging it in, we're interested in, I got to read the question, and this is seriously how I do these. I have to read them several times. So it's probably getting less than 50%. So here's what we're looking for. Probability that Z is less than, and I got to check my numbers. Now my P hat was 0.50. So 0.50 minus my population proportion, 0.55, all over the square root of P, which is 0.55, I almost wrote 0.50, times 1 minus 0.55, which is 0.45, all over 100, which is our sample size. And that square root goes over that whole thing. And so that should be our probability. And which one is that? Looks like it is B. So 46 looks like the answer should be choice B. So then if it were to calculate a question, if I knew that this was a normal distribution and I'm not told that, I would do it a little bit differently. But actually, I take that back because this is a proportion. So we are using a z-score, so a normal distribution for it. So check that last part that I said. Hope that helps. Thanks.